Welcome to exercise 2 from chapter 10 that can be found on page 10-11 of your textbook. Here you see in SolidWorks what the finished isometric is going to be looking like. And we will then now proceed to create this on the graph paper in the book. So let's switch over to the book and let's watch what we're going to do. Now over in the book, I've done a little bit of work. I've done some counting of squares. I see the height of this object from the front is 6 dots. The width also shown in the front is 14 dots, which is pretty big. And then the depth is 6. Now in the isometric, the width goes this way. Okay, so this is our width. Our depth goes this way. And then our height is going to go along these vertical lines. So let's just go up this way. So now what I want to do is create a bounding box around this object. And I soon figured out, I counted where points, I have points 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the base of the bounding box. And now I have to go up 6 from each point. Well, I'm going to go up 6 from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see this is going to be a pretty big object. Now from point 4, and I put this in the best position I could to sketch this one. I have to go up 6 from 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm at the end of the graph paper, so I had to create my own graph paper up here so I could get up to 6 points. All right, I'm going to later cut that piece off, but I still need it for reference. So I had to make more graph paper. So thank you very much, author, for not planning very well on the size of this object. There's no reason it needed to be this wide, and it's really the width that's causing this problem as far as fitting in. So I have to come up 3 from, go up 6 squares from 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's right here. So creating my bounding box, all right, it's going to go here, and we're going to be cutting away quite a bit of this material. So if you were creating this in the machine shop, the instructor would probably be asking you, is there another way to do this? Perhaps the two parts could be done separately. Maybe this top part could be done in one thing and it could be bolted into the base, because just looking at this bounding box, you're probably going to be wasting probably about 40% of the original material. I mean, that's material that had to be mined, and then it had to be melted down and refined and extruded and doing all kinds of things and transported. So there's a lot of carbon footprint and other pollution and stuff that's been created to make this material. So you really don't want to be making things with that require large bounding boxes where you cut most of it away. But for isometric, we don't really have any waste other than a little bit of graphite and a little bit of eraser. That's why you have to have the industrial eraser here. All right, so that's the bounding box. That's how big a box you need to be able to make this object. All right, so let's think about how we're going to proceed. Let's start with the easier side out here at point 1. So point 1, let's say that it's going to go to this point. You can see it's going to go back 2 squares along the depth. So I'm going to go back 2 squares, and I'm going to just put a dot there. And then there's going to be 2 dots here on top of each other. Let me just label this. We're up to 5. So let me just call this one 5, 6. And then, so 5 and 6 are here. 5 and 6. Okay, so at 6, there's actually 2 points on top of each other, and there's a height of 2 squares. So we're going to have to go up 2 squares here, and at 5 we're going to go up 2 squares. All right, and from where point 6 is, we have to now count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to come back 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to come to here. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing right here. We'll go up 2 from 5, and then we're going to come back 6 squares. So that's going to be right here. All right, so I'm just going to draw a line, and we're going to have something that looks like this. All right, so now I have to do a little bit of erasing. But before I do any erasing, this front line right in here, which is going from 1 to 2, it's going to go back not only the 60 here, but 7, 8, 9. So I have to do 3 more squares, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to come all the way back to there. And that's going to get me to this edge right here. So I'm going to just come across. I'm going to make a box in the front. And you're going to see that this is going to begin to take shape. Okay, I'm just going to draw a line right here. Now let me do some erasing. Okay, I'm just going to bring this up because if I look from the front, I'm eventually going to have this circular feature here, but for now, I'm just going to make it into a box. And everything off here to the right is going to get cut away. So this is where all the waste would be in this part. So I'm going to erase these original lines. And you can see it's starting to take shape. All right, there's just a couple more lines up in here. All right, there's going to be a line because this is going to come down. It's going to be hidden, and there's going to be a hidden line going across. You don't have to do hidden lines on these drawings. I'm just doing it to help you visualize. Now, this line that's going to come back from 5 along the ground here, what I do is if it's going to go up to another line and be collinear, I leave a little bit of a gap there. All right, just so that emphasizes they're not really on top of each other. And then there's going to be a little line that you're going to see here. And once again, I stopped a little bit before the line, but I didn't have to there. Okay, now if hidden lines are not helping us, we can just get rid of them. And the U shape, there is no line between 5 and 6, so we just erase that. And we have the right side of the object all done. Now we're going to work on the harder side, which is the left side of the object. Okay, so over in here, what I'm going to first do is create this circular shape, the outline. And it's going to have a radius of 1, 2, 3. So let's find, and this center point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see how many squares. 1, 2, 3. It's going up 4. Did I count this right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay, so as I have counted this, I see that this height, I said 6 before. I don't know what I was doing. Let's see, let's count again. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a height of 7. I had it 6 before. So that means each of these points over here is actually going to have to move up 1 more. Okay, so that's just going to make this a little bit more cumbersome. Okay, so I'm going to go up to here. So I just barely get that in there. I'm going to have to create another line across here and probably another line of graph paper along here. because I'm going to have to come back. Let's just extend these lines in here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that point number 3 is really way up in there now. And these points here both have to come up 1. So come up 1 to here. Okay, so this is what this box on this side is going to look like. Like I said, some of this is going to get cut away, so don't worry too much. But I would suggest getting another piece of graph paper from your instructor if you're doing a problem like this. In fact, I'd probably do all these on separate graph paper, and your instructor has full-size sheets of this graph paper. So this is a perfect example why you'd want to do it on a full-size sheet and not here. In fact, here's something I did on a half sheet, and it just barely fit in there. Okay, so now that I have a height of 7, okay, I can find this point, which is up 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where I saw I was having trouble, and it's going to be over 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 over and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this line and this line fall into the plane of the front. Okay, now the radius of this is going to be 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So I got 1 point in my circle here, 1 point here, 1 point here, and there's no more cutting down below those lines. So now, since I already have a box there, I can do tangent to tangent like that. And then I'm going to do tangent to tangent here. All right? So that's the front. Now I'm not going to do the circle, the hole through it yet, because I'm going to now go to the back surface. So I'm going to make a dotted line up here. And hopefully you can picture there is a back surface, 2 dotted lines, and these 2 lines right here. So we have a plane in the back that we're going to sketch on. Alright, so I need to find out where the center point is going to be. There's a few ways I could get it. I know this object has a depth of 6. So let's make sure of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can go from this center point and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I get a point right here. The other thing I could do is go from this edge and go over 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 2 from there, 1, 2. Okay, so there's the center point. All right, now I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, so I'm going to get a point here. I'm going to go out here, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 out here on this back surface. Okay, now I'm going to use this here. I'm going to do tangent to tangent and then tangent to tangent. So okay, and then I'm just going to do a light line. This would be one of those things called the tangent lines. All right, now at this point it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a ruler. You don't need a ruler, but I just happen to find one here on the table. And what you have to do is go along the direction of the isometrics at 30 degrees and find out where there's a line that's tangent to the 2 points here. And I can see I can just freehand a line that's tangent between these 2 edges right here. All right? So that is how you connect 2 circles. You go along a 30-degree line and go tangent to tangent. Now that means that I can now cut away all this extra material. Okay, and I can take away 0.3 because 0.3 was in the bounding box. Okay, and I can take this off of here. I'm going to take this line out of here. I'm going to make this just dotted. It's on the back surface. I don't need my I don't need a tangent line there. So I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. And so that's what this circular shape is going to look like. And so I'm just going to darken it up. Now once you get to that point, you're now going to erase this right there. And that's what we're going to see. I've got some hidden lines there just to help us in locating a few features. All right, this hole up in front has a radius of 1.5. So we're going to go in each of the principal directions of the center mark 1.5. So 1.5 up, 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5. And now I have to make a box. So I'll make the box like this, up like this. And this box is going to help with drawing the tangents. So between these points, I'm drawing tangents, tangent to tangent. I'm going a little bit crooked here. Okay, I need my backhand here. There you go. All right, so remember, circles will turn into elliptical shapes in the front. I can see I turned that a little bit too quickly. It needs to probably come like that. All right, well, it's never going to be exactly perfect, but that's a little bit better. Now on the back side, this hole is going to come through. There's no need to really draw it. As I just do this circle back here, I can see the circle is not going to be visible through this hole. It's just too deep an object. Okay, so I'm going to just erase these lines. I'll take a look at this for a second, see if I've forgotten anything. I don't need any hidden lines. I got my width, my depth, my height. It still went beyond the graph paper. If you have to do this for homework, get a full sheet of graph paper from your instructor. And comparing that to the SolidWorks, it looks like we're doing pretty well. The only thing that SolidWorks seems to have added is a little fillet in here. Okay, so fillets are a little bit hard to draw. You can draw them on the side here. That's easy enough. And then over in here, you'd have a little fillet. Okay, and then up in here, you might draw like these little things like this to kind of show that there's a transition. But your instructor may be perfectly happy without the fillet, which would mean just a straight line straight across. All right, there we are with this one. I will sign it, JBW, and I was told today actually isn't the 10th, it's actually the 9th. So there we are, 9914. Made it work even though the author didn't give us enough room to do this in. So, okay, we'll see you on the next video.